Second seat.
Bonjour Victor, tu as parlé plusieurs fois de basketball éthique ces derniers jours. Est-ce que tu peux développer un petit peu ta vision des choses sur ce point-là?
Oui, bien sûr.
Two on the aisle. You got him.
C'est un peu abstrait, mais on voit dans le basket moderne beaucoup de basket où s'il n'y a pas les 5 joueurs impliqués dans le système et le danger ne vient pas de partout et c'est pas notre cas. Voilà, on joue pas beaucoup d'isolation par exemple. Les 5 joueurs sur le terrain sont une menace constamment. Voilà, je trouve simplement que c'est un basket qu'on peut décrire parfois comme old school. Mais voilà, c'est un peu abstrait, mais c'est ma vision des choses.
Si je peux rebondir rapidement, toi tu veux être MVP, ça passe souvent par des grosses performances individuelles. Comment tu maintiens l'équilibre entre ces deux visions-là du basket?
Je trouve pas que ce soit quelque chose de très compliqué à faire parce que dans ma vision des choses, c'est les performances collectives qui en pâtissent directement dans le cas d'un focus trop individuel. Donc pour moi, c'est le meilleur joueur du monde. Il fait gagner son équipe avant tout.
On the left side, Tim.
Victor, after the game the other night, you mentioned being happy to be part of a team that plays pure and ethical basketball. What do you mean by that phrase?
Great, that's exactly the question I was asked in French, so I'm just going to repeat myself. I figured. But basically, my answer is simply going to be that, in modern basketball, we see a lot of brands of basketball that don't offer much variety in the dangers they pose to the opponents. Lots of isolation, ball, and sometimes kind of forced basketball. And we try to propose a brand of basketball that can be described as more old school sometimes. The Spurs way as well. So it's tactically more correct basketball, in my opinion.
Tim, right here.
Victor, it's not the ultimate trophy in this league, obviously, but it is a trophy. And like you pointed out the other night, you guys, for the first time since you've been here, are winning much more than you lose. What winning this trophy, what step would that represent for this group if you guys got it done tomorrow?
One, second row on the green.
It's not going to be a super significant step, but still a significant one. Because it's a high stakes game that both teams are going to be very invested in winning. So it just shows that we are preparing and we will pass the next step for more significant games in the playoffs. But as competitors, this is the complicated explanation, but it's simple as that. As competitors, we want to win every game, and this one brings something new on the table, so we want to win it even more.
On your left, Mike.
Victor, what's your philosophy on trash talk? The other night, it seemed like you were feeling yourself a little bit. Should you have a filter, or does anything go?
No, I think you should always have. I don't know. I don't know. Having a filter it's even a philosophical question, but trash talk, for me, can be used for two things: either disrupt the opponent or give yourself and your team more energy. Some sort of So it's some things like that on the court. You don't want to control, and you don't want to have a filter because it goes with the flow of the game, and you're not trying to stop you. If you want to do it, as long as it doesn't hurt the team and it's still correct in a humanly way, like you don't want to stop yourself from doing it if you're in that momentum. So I don't know, as long as it's natural and not forced. The border is of ethical and not ethical on the court is more difficult to observe.
Over here, Robert, second row.
Victor, you talked some earlier in the season about the differences in shot selection last year versus this year. If it wasn't a focus, at least thinking about that over the offseason, what's that actually look like in terms of film review and on the practice court if you're running drills to actually bring a different shot selection mindset to the league this year?
It starts with every shot being reviewed, every single shot of every season, every game, and yeah, just a relentless focus. Because in my position, being a big, the game is much more physical. The impacts are much more physical, so it's always a fight with yourself and with your opponent to keep going towards the rim and to not fade away, because it's just too easy to when you get bumped to just fade away, but always going towards the rim to get the most efficient shots. That's always a mental fight.
In the middle.
Si je me souviens bien, l'année dernière, les Bucks, ils n'avaient pas du tout célébré la victoire. Après le match, ils étaient partis direct à Milwaukee, rentrés. Il y a 2 ans, les Lakers, tout l'inverse, ils avaient fait péter le champagne.
Ah bon?
Ouais, LeBron et AD à fond dans le vestiaire. Comment toi tu vois la chose si jamais vous gagnez? Est-ce que c'est le genre de victoire qu'on doit célébrer jusqu'à la dernière minute ou pas?
Non, je serais plutôt, si je devais choisir, d'après ta description, je choisirais plutôt la célébration des Bucks. Parce que voilà, on est au milieu de la saison, ça ne veut pas rien dire, mais c'est pas non plus si significatif que ça de gagner ce tournoi. Donc voilà, faut rester humble, et tout en sachant que comme on célébrerait pas une série de playoffs, on va pas célébrer, on va pas faire péter le champagne demain soir.
We'll take last 2, Tom, and then Michael. We have the microphone coming around.
Victor, what are the conversations going to look like with you and Mitch about, whether you start tomorrow, come off the bench, and what are your thoughts on it?
It's going to be a mix of different opinions, but at the end of the day, I'm ready, and even if I will have my own opinion, it will also be based on my thoughts and the thoughts of the staff. So I just said a bunch of nothing, but basically we're going to discuss it.
Michael, last one.
Vic, I know you guys are playing the Knicks, but after a game like the other night, I'm curious as to what you think about this budding rivalry you have with OKC.
I think we're not quite there yet, but it's a good sign that people see that it's possible, because it's not like we're the second seed right now, And I don't think anybody right now can claim to have a rivalry with them in the league. They're in their own tier. But in the future, if we can, provided that they stay just as good and we reach that level, of course it'd be great to have a rivalry, because if you're at the top and you have a rivalry, it means you're in the best positions to win titles. So I'm very interested by it.